Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Namaskar student friends, myself Akhilesh Kumar Upadhyay, Assistant Professor in Department Journalism and Mass Communication, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. I welcome you in Chaitanya Studio, and today I will discuss in paper number 2, unit number 14, audience, readers, viewers and listeners. Paper number 2, understanding media and mass communication and journalism, I have finished in 13 units in this paper number 2 in this paper, and unit number 14 is the last unit of this paper number 2, and the reader, viewer and listener the last entitle, and it means the 14 unit entitle. So, I will discuss about what is the meaning, importance and significance like reader, viewer and audience. So, let us start in this unit. So, firstly we are going now the objectives. What is the objectives in reader, viewers and listeners? The firstly three we are looking about 4 or 5 objectives in this main features like in this unit. First is making students aware about different type of audience. It means what is the differences in audience? Many types of audience in the current scenario, and every times and every situations have a different audience in people's listening, like these are important to audience. What is the preferable, what is the preferred to audience? Like some people's like listening in the classical music, but some people's listening like the pop or jack music. So, these are depend on the choice of audience. Second is understanding the importance of knowing audience, and third is developing clarity about the different ways to address audience. Fourth, what to keep in mind to get a desired response from the audience by the message, and followed by understanding the patterns of audience, content, assumption. These are the 5 main objectives of this unit. After finish this unit, it may be you will more like get a more beneficials and understand very well in the significance, pattern, differentiate in the what is the choices of the audience, right. Then firstly what you what is your understanding, what is your development after this finish unit? Firstly, differentiate between the various audience first, and second, understand the needs of the audience and plan and customize content output according to audience preferences, and fourth, think like a producer to deliver content, audio, video, digital, text format to achieve audience engagement. These are contents like you clearly and you rectify and you cut after the finish the unit, what is differences between of types of audience, choices of audience. Like firstly we are going now the introduction, meaning and importance of audience. First, one would have here two word audience. Many times and many people say that audience, cut and paste, and every time you like you have scenes or you like look anywhere and like at a time of shootings, this movie are going on, but audience are not here. And audience, who is audience? What is like making a producer a movie for like for whom? For whom? It means after like complete the movie, but whom persons, right? The whom, like whom, it means it itself create the whom, it means the audience. if audience is not there, it's not looking like any movie, cinema, audio, video, mixer, any kinds of things. So meaningless and nothing important of the like any uh, movie, drama, any kinds of things like music. Then meaning, however, just reconfirm once understanding about the word audience. Let us dictionary we have checked about like the audience. It means according to Cambridge Dictionary, word, I many times you have listening now, uh, means a group of people. Audience means a group of people where sitting, where talking about, like where standing many people, like a group of people where representing uh, anywhere any kinds of things like 2 or 3 peoples or 4 peoples or a group of people. It means the larger compact of the audience, like masses. So to specific audience is the group of people together one place to watch or listen a play, film, someone speaking, etc., listening, etc., are the number of people watching, listening, and any like any kinds of thing like television, radio program, reading particular books, visiting particular website, or reading newspapers, reading newspaper magazine, or finish the like magazines or any major important title. So after finish the magazines and title like any topic particular, he like after the finish he discussed about what is the next, what will be next. So these are kinds come through the audience. In the world around us, audience is referred by the various entitles in different ways. There is a target audience. It means like any movie or any theater drama activist, making any kinds of things like uh, drama, movie, and any documentary for the people of audience. It means audience. And the 3 types of audience: first is the core audience, secondary audience, and the cumulative audience, etc. But audience as a general terms, it called is the audience is a general term, but it is divided of the three three types. First is the core audience, second secondary audience, and third is the cumulative audience. It means these are the differences between the audience. Firstly, but audience is general terms, like you already talked about the group of people where like finish like any kinds of things, just discuss uh, about the content. So this is the group of people the called by the audience. So who are the consuming or using a specific products, services, informations, any kinds of things. So that's why like who is the finish these contents. So it is the called the audience. In media perspectives, the mass communication and journalism, audience can be understood as a group of people receiving, using, consuming news, informations, and other content of audio, uh, video, photograph, and text formats. The audience for media can be categorized as a readers, listeners, viewers, and now with the rapidly growing digital media, users of the social media. It is the shifted, like you can say like the paradigm shifted after the come through the social media in the market. Because of the you can go ahead in the back side, like 1 decade ago, the people, it means the audience depend by the broadcast media. It means the radio, television, or newspapers. There are only 3 resources and sources available that time. But this times content is the social media is the more like spacious or broadly reached than any peoples, and any peoples connected with the social media platforms. Like the some examples of the audience, like the first example, like you can take the core audience. Core audience for the coaching classes, like The core audience is, it means the coaching classes for the preparations of entrance examinations, for admissions into management institutions, technical institutions, or any medical institutions. Will be college going students who can be potential trainee for coaching class. Secondary audience, it means these kinds of audience may not be direct user consumer of the product or services, but they can influence the purchases of the products. So let's continue further with the coaching classes example, like the teacher, parents, friends, parents, friends, or students who can suggest the son or daughters, or in like any coaching classes, ki his coaching these coaching classes, and this coaching classes teacher is the very good, and like teaching style is the very very great, and very like he's like taught about like any coaching classes is the more giving the more example, and these kinds of things. Then examinations preparation, but may not go to the coachings, but he doesn't go in the coaching classes, but his share views and informations through the came through the another person, another sources, and like the sharing views, you should go there firstly, because he have not the first hand informations, but he'll like he's sharing in our views, because if he listening uh, about the content, like about the coaching classes to other person, so that's why he's sharing views. Why does the audience matter? Importance of audience, it means this questions answer like heading the like these questions answers like hitting the like the questions, because of the audience matters, because if there is no audience, there is no media, and neither journalism nor the business nor journalism would be exist. It means if audience is not there, so that's why any kinds of things like the media, that that time it may be audience is not there, so that why the end of the media, because of create content, writing content, listening content, or watching content, everything prepared by the media. For whom? For whom? It means the for the audience. It's the simple answer is the audience. If audience is not there, it not available, so that's why in depth of the media content and in depth the media existence, right? And how to find the audience? Next is the how to find the audience. Finding the audience requires in depth understanding about the nature of your content and what types. It means how, what is like you searching about the in audience, what is the your like feeling, observations, and what is the your content, depends on like your contents, how to searching like audience, likely to like content, and what types of people are likely to use it. And it is the claim the marketing what that you need to have the right product for the right people in order to sell it. Here while we are the focusing on the creation of the content in terms of news, long form articles, feature, opinion in various formats like text, video, audio, and animations, we should ask basic questions like that. It means everywhere like the animation, video content, radio content, long form, feature, print media, electronic media, social media, everywhere is required of the content. Content is depending on the audience. What is the audience choice? And like your content like written like the sorrow story, like in the tragedy story. So it is related to like these story, relativity of the thinking which people like the these kinds of thing. So that's why this story match of these types of audience. So who is the going read, watch, listen to your content? First questions is the your any in your mind ki it means who is going read and watch, listen to your content? Does your content have something which people do not already know about? And third is, how is your content going to benefit the audience? What is the benefit? If any audience watching movie, then what is his benefits? What will benefits of audience watching your movie? The first is things. If any people's watching movie, if he is not entertained after the watching the movie, so why watching your movie? After watching movie, he will not entertain. His mind is will not fresh. So why will like any audience? Why will be watching your movie or any content, documentary, theaters, any kinds of thing? And third is, what content is being produced by the other journalist or media communications, your possible competitors, and why should be audience choose your content over others? What is the unique selling points of your content? Customize content to audience requirements. It means this is depend on the mood of the audience. Like by now you would be having a fair idea about the importance of audience and how to find it your content. The digital world is the crowded place with hundreds of the options the content user audience to the choose what they want to read, watch or listen from, and when they want to they consume the content. What they want to read, what they want to watch, what they want to listen, these are the questions in the audience. Like you can go through the like the movie, if Bahubali first and Bahubali second, many people's these movie created by the created by and the produced by the South India and producers, but everywhere like the east, west, north, south, the peoples went to the watch for the went to the theaters and watch the movie, and everyone and like he and like he or she entertain after the watching the movie. If anybody not entertain, does not entertain after the watching the movie, so he or she will not going the theater. And what is the compose your audience? The previous sections focus the customization of content according to the audience preferences. We will now discuss about the actually compose the audience. Audience essentially means a group of people belonging to various culture, demography, linguistic, geography. It means the audience are like people are belonging to different places, and different people are different audience choices of different mode. It may be some people's like close of the culture, some people's close like the demographic, some people's close in the linguistic, geography, history. So depend on the audience what is like that, what is like that. So if he or she not entertain after the watching movie or theaters, listening the movie or radio, this is not impactful creating or making any type of content. And next is the how to address your audience. How to address your audience? First is the after understanding the variety of the content. If firstly you should have a lot of variety, like that it forms of the text forms, audio forms, video forms, animation, and the space, sports, any kinds of things. So you have a lot of materials. Firstly, criteria is that you should a lot of material, and the specific audience which would enjoy each types of contents. And you also need to consider how to address the audience. It has already been discussed earlier that the audience for any media is a group of people with numerous backgrounds and conditions like social status, economic, class, gender, geographical influences, education, race, color, caste, creed, etc. Now the journalist or the content producer, one needs to keep all factors in mind. If first criteria, any journalist or any producers, any making content writer, firstly you should these above content firstly you should have. If you not like you have avoid like these kinds of content, so that's why you have like you will go through the failure in upcoming future. Use of appropriate vocabulary for the content. The vocabulary is the most important of the any cinema or like any content. Vocabulary is the like very charming and important and impactful impactful player like any cricket, hockey and volleyball, handball, like the midfielder like in football, like football player, like a midfielder of the hockey. Like what is the role of midfielder in hockey, what is the role of midfielder in volleyball. So the main role and the same type of the role of the vocabulary of the content, like very short and simple scientific terms you should use in the content, and impactful content you should have in like you should use like the your content like when writing in any content for the any kinds of things like radio or theater or movie. However, the movie had the attract a great mass audience across the world who was not necessarily interested in science. The point is that despite huge scientific terms, many parts of the movie explained the scientific phenomenon in an easy to understand language for the layman. Difference between reader, viewer and listeners. In the beginning of this unit, we have discussed about how the word of audience gives ideas about the group of people and who are the readers as listeners and viewers of common content. However, words have their own peculiar meanings of the communicate a specific type of the content to the consumer. And like reader like David Mill, author, the form of editor, various newspaper explains difference between newspaper reader, the online reader. He has written his book Content is a King. Like when you write any content for the like movie or theater, radio, any kinds of thing, like content is the king. Very you should very impactful content or like any story is the very impactful, very like charming and dynamic. Like writing and editing online, when you write for print, we accept that the reader to closely follow our copy from the start to finish and following the logical path of our presentation. Talking about the online readers, he wrote, the online readers is to skim and the scan content. In addition, they will most often jump from item to item, page to page, which is what hyperlinks are for the after all. Mill advised online copywriter to ensure that key content is quickly and easily consumed first, and second is the most important information is near to start of the copy, content recognized in easy to follow and initiatives, navigational structures. these contents are you should have these types of the content. And what is the eligibility of the listeners? The difference between the listeners and hearing is similar to breathing alongside meditation and breathing without meditations. If your ears and neural systems are healthy, you can hear every sound around you have beyond your control simply and naturally. Listening call for more focus from your brain in order to hear specific sounds and voices, and it analyzes and interprets its meaning and context. So, we are talking about reading like reader, listeners and copywriters, content creators, content makers, producers. Like the what is the difference between these kinds of things, like what is the capability and what is the eligibility of the for the audience. If you have fail of these kinds of things, so these are meaningless, not the impactful, and not the any consequences meaning in the upcoming future. So friends, here is the like 4 questions for your preparations, like in the video. After watching the video, firstly you will go through the check your progress. 4 questions here mentioned about the according to the Cambridge dictionary, what is the meaning of audience first, and second give the wage of audience, third is the categorize of the audience in media, and fourth is what types of content in the mass communications. Here mentioning the 4 questions for your preparation. Firstly go through the open your notepad and writing like these questions, writing answer for these questions, and check your what is the your capability, and where you get like the after watching this video and like reading this content, soft file and hard copy you have reached there. Already you have reached the found like the hard copy, and you have opened the notebook and the soft file and reading like these units, and after finish and after watching this video, these are questions we have firstly solved, and another 2 or 3 questions when you will solve, then you will get more benefit and more beneficial for you. And after examinations in futures, what is the you have firstly you should have these kinds of things, this capability, eligibility you should, then like reading, listenings and writings, 3 are major parts of the like any viewers, any audience, like any content creators will like create any like story for the films, story from the radio, like when you write like content about the anywhere, any kinds of things, the firstly keep in your mind for the what choices of audience. Firstly keep in your minds the more important of the audience, and like writing a create and any content in the words simple, sober and the easy understanding for the audience. Audience is the more impactful and more player like a midfielder, like any sports. So friends, hopefully you understand very well after watching this online video. These units here the finish these units, unit number 14 and paper number 2. Then we will again meet in the online platforms and the with paper number 3. Thank you. स्वाध्यायः परमः